Right in. We've got council members Parker, Allen, Evans, Siegel, Hill, Coopin, and Spain present. We'll begin with our public comment period. We have one person who has signed up for public comment. Is Mr. Steve Ryder here? Thanks for joining us, sir. So the public comment works. Do you have a timer handy?
You can press the timer right there on the machine.
Oh, great. So I can just set the time, right?
Well, when it starts.
Once he starts, yes. Okay, so public comment is limited to 2 minutes, and now folks can,
It's the same as it's always been right now.
so for committees, it's the same. You have to speak to items that are on the agenda. Anyway, we have Mr. Steve Ryder here. Mr. Ryder, I will recognize you, and thanks for joining us today, and your 2 minutes begins now.
Okay, I'm addressing the resolution 2024-351. And I appreciate talking with Councilman Coopin about this. We've had some numerous conversations, but we really haven't, I'm not comfortable supporting it at this time. I understand he has an amendment or a substitute that he's going to be putting forward. I'm not aware of it. I haven't read it, so it's hard for me to comment. It's really what the original resolution was overly broad for me. We're talking about the downtown loop, and that's a large area. I'm very concerned about it being a natural waterway, and we might be putting restrictions as far as access to that. So I would respectfully request that the city work with the Army Corps of Engineers. I think there's a factual dispute as far as what Metro owns and what the Army Corps of Engineers owns, and what sort of agreements need to be put forward to go forward with this piece of legislation. So I'd like to point out, too, that I know I don't have much time, but in 2008, the Metro Council went for a walk, or excuse me, went for a swim in the Cumberland River. And I believe that's what Mr. Riley was doing, too. He was going for a swim. He took off, he got down to his shorts, and he went for a swim. That's a risk that he took. I don't think he fell in. I don't think there was any sort of issue, foul play. Although there were rumors, but I want to thank the police department for saying there's no evidence of foul play in his death so far. So with that, I will have continuing conversations with Mr. Coopin, but at this time, I can't support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Okay, and Mr. Ryder was the only person who was properly signed up ahead of the meeting for the public comment period. Is anyone else here, members of the public, wishing to address this body here during the public comment period? Seeing none, all right, and we will declare the public comment period completed for this meeting. We have a rather lengthy agenda. Much of it is on consent, or proposed consent. Right now, I believe I have 3 items that are not on consent. This is committee item 1, that's RS 2024-351. Committee item 6, that is RS 2024-467, and committee item 7, that is RS 2024-468. Are there any other items that need to come off of consent for discussion or questions? Councilmember Spain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 13.
Thank you. Yes, amendment. Thank you, sir. Any other items need to come off for questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, so I'm now going to read the bill number, sponsor, and caption for all of the items on consent, and then I'll ask for a motion on the proposed consent calendar. So for the consent calendar, we're beginning with committee item 2. This is RS 2024-463 by Webb, Porterfield, and Parker. This approves an interlocal agreement between the City of Goodlettsville and the Metropolitan Government through NDOT, authorizing Goodlettsville to operate and maintain traffic signalization equipment at the intersection of South Main Street and Rivergate Parkway in Goodlettsville. Committee item 3, this is RS 2024-464 by Porterfield and Parker. This approves a sole source contract between the Metropolitan Government and Transportation Control Systems Incorporated to provide McCain traffic and pedestrian hardware at a 35% discount off MSRP. Committee item 4, this is RS 2024-465 by Gamble, Porterfield, and Parker. This approves an intergovernmental agreement between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and NDOT for the maintenance of traffic control devices in connection with TDOT's roadway improvement project on Old Hickory Boulevard from Brick Church Pike to Dickerson Pike. Committee item 5, this is RS 2024-466 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, and Allen. This approves an application for a congestion relief program grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation to NDOT to fund the Downtown Nashville Adaptive Signals and Transportation Demand Management Project, which aims to make greater strides towards alleviating congestion, increasing mobility, and supporting transit operations in downtown Nashville. Committee item 8, this is RS 2024-469 by Porterfield and Parker. This approves a contract between the Metropolitan Government and Ford Hall Company for the provision of Weir-Wolf parts, products, and service. Committee item 9, this is RS 2024-470 by Coop and Porterfield Gamble Parker. Approves a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Elliston Hospitality LLC to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. Committee item 10, this is RS 2024-471 by Eastlake, Porterfield, Gamble, and Parker. This approves the participation agreement between the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and A-Team Properties LLC to provide sanitary sewer service improvements for A-Team's proposed development, as well as other existing properties in the area. Committee item 10, this is RS 2024-472 by Cap, Gamble, and Parker. This amends Ordinance BL 2021-758 of the Metropolitan Government to negotiate, condemn, and accept permanent easements for the McGavick Pike Stormwater Improvement Project for 5 properties located on McGavick Pike and Gallatin Pike. Bills on second reading, we have Committee Item 12. This is BL 2024-345 by Parker and Spain. This amends Title 15 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws pertaining to the approval of water and sewer system extensions, additions, improvements, and other works by the Metropolitan Council. Committee Item 14, this is BL 2024-350 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the abandonment of alley number 896 right-of-way and utility easements between Reedhurst Avenue and 24th Avenue North, and the conditional abandonment of alley number 924 right-of-way and partial utility easements between Brandow Place and alley number 896. Committee Item 15, this is BL 2024-351 by Horton, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the abandonment of a portion of alley number 1519 right-of-way from Midland Avenue, then west to the dead end. Committee Item 16, this is BL 2024-352 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes Jamal's Honky Tonk LLC to construct, install, and maintain aerial, underground, and above-ground encroachments at 522, 524, and 532 4th Avenue South. Committee Item 17, this is BL 2024-353 by Taylor, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes Tennessee State University to construct and install an aerial and above-ground encroachment at 3100 John A. Merritt Boulevard. Committee Item 18, this is BL 2024-354 by Porterfield, Parker, and Welsh. This approves a term extension of contract 408246 between the Metropolitan Government and Reynolds Construction LLC for the Biosolids Facility Digester Design and Build Project. Committee Item 19, this is BL 2024-355 by Porterfield and Parker. This grants the purchasing agent the authority to extend the term of contract number 459172 between the Department of Water and Sewerage Services and CDM Smith. Committee Item 20, this is BL 2024-356 by Gamble, Parker, and Ewing. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to adopt the revised flood insurance rate map to minimize dangers to life and property due to flooding and to maintain eligibility for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. Committee Item 21, this is BL 2024-357 by Benedict, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to acquire permanent and temporary easements through negotiation, condemnation, and acceptance for the Norval Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project for 13 properties located on Norval Avenue and Oxford Street. Committee Item 22, this is BL 2024-358 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located at 7211 Carruthers Road, also known as Carruthers Crossing, Phase 5B. Committee Item 23, this is BL 2024-359 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 7211 Carruthers Road, also known as Carruthers Crossing Phase 10, Section 2A. Committee item 24, this is BL 2024-360 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 5 properties located at Nolensville Park Road, Rocky Fork Road, Newsom Lane, and Johnston Industrial Boulevard in Williamson County, also known as the Nolensville Public Works Facility Project. Committee item 25, this is BL 2024-361 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, public sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 7350 Nolensville Road and Rocky Fork Road, unnumbered in Williamson County, also known as Village Green, Nolensville. Committee item 26, this is BL 2024-362 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing sanitary sewer pump stations, sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new sanitary sewer mains, new sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 19 properties located on Nolensville Road, Kidd Road, Alameda Avenue, Baronswood Drive, and Fly Road in Williamson County, also known as Storyvale, Nolensville. Committee item 27, this is BL 2024-363 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1806B Lishi Avenue, also known as the Villas at Lishi. Committee item 28, this is BL 2024-364 by Benedict Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1328 McAlpine Avenue. Committee item 29, this is BL 2024-365 by Druffel Gamble Parker. Authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept a new public water main for property located at 6501 Pennywell Drive. Committee item 30, this is BL 2024-366 by Toombs Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept the replacement and realignment of public water main for property located at 1112B Baptist World Center Drive, also known as Hudson Row. Committee item 31, this is BL 2024-367 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 319 Williams Avenue, also known as Williams Retreat Phase 1. Committee item 32, this is BL 2024-368 by Coopin, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water main, public fire hydrant assemblies, and public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 311 3rd Avenue South, also known as Motto Hotel. Committee item 33, this is BL 2024-369 by Evans, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 1015 Tulip Grove Road. Lastly, we have committee item 34. This is BL 2024-370 by Greg Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer force main and easement and to accept new public water main and sanitary sewer main, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 2600 Pennington Bend Road, also known as Pennington Mills. So that is our proposed consent agenda. Having heard the captions, does anything else need to come off of consent for discussion, questions, clarification? Okay, I'm seeing none. If a committee member would please make a motion for that proposed consent agenda. All right, properly moved and seconded. Thank you all very much. Any discussion on that proposed consent agenda? Seeing none. So all those in favor of approval of that consent agenda, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Okay, thank you. And we added Ewing. Thank you. Okay, first item that was not on consent is a resolution. This is committee item number 1. It's RS 2024-351 by Coopin, Horton, Huffman, and others. This is a resolution requesting certain departments of the Metropolitan Government to provide a comprehensive analysis of recommended changes to increase the safety, security, housing resources for the unhoused, and cleanliness of the properties surrounding the Cumberland River within the downtown interstate loop. And we have a lead sponsor who is a member of the committee, so I will go ahead to Councilmember Coopin. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move for approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this or?
I'd like to move the amendment.
Okay, thank you. So can we get a second on the amendment? And Councilman Coopin, could you tell us a little bit about what the amendment does?
Yes, so the amendment on the bill clarifies some language. I've been working with the administration to make sure that the intention of the bill is codified there and is something that the different departments can support, and really appreciate all the time and effort and energy of multiple different departmental leaders and liaisons. And we've got something that I think we're all happy with. So it clarifies the bill, and I think we're ready to move forward.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion, clarifying questions on this one? Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If the council member, the sponsor could just, I guess, just for the viewing audience, articulate what we hope will be the result of this.
Councilmember, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Would you like me to move the bill as amended and to discuss the bill as a whole first, or go into the discussion?
Let's go ahead and vote on the amendment, and then we'll
work.
discuss the substance. So any other discussion on the amendment specifically? All right, I'm seeing none. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed to the amendment? Any not voting on the amendment? All right, recommend approval of the amendment, 7 in favor, 0 against. So Councilmember Cooper, now you've got your bill as amended. Your
Great. So I'd like to
resolution
move as amended with a discussion, or the brief comment, rather.
Thank you. Can we get a second on that? Thank you.
Thank you. So hopefully can encompass everyone's questions, and I really appreciate Mr. Ryder coming and continuing to talk. I think he's got some really astute observations and points, and as I kind of in conversation with him explained that the nice thing about a non-binding messaging resolution is that the end goal of this particular piece of legislation is a report, and we can continue to kind of steer and shape that as we gather more information. One of the concerns he raised was whether it was Parks property or Corps of Engineer property that had final jurisdiction over river access. That's a great question. That's something that I'm seeking to learn more about and clarify in this resolution. So a couple different goals. Big picture goal is a report at the end that will tell us what different departmental recommendations are around cleanliness, around safety, lighting, access, things like that. The goal is also to create access. It's not to hinder it in any way, but actually to enhance it. I've been working with parks about certain fencing and certain clearing, certain brush that will actually provide better viewpoints and vantage points along the Gay Street connector. Part of the amendment, I've worked with with Office of Homeless Services, Open Table, and a number of the other homeless advocacy groups in the city to make sure that the language clarifies. We're not trying to move people from place to place to place, but actually provide housing and resources and, look holistically at the challenges along the river and solve those collectively. So my hope is that it's a comprehensive approach. It's a report that comes back to us that we can take steps on long-term and then also make some short-term movement as well.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions, discussion on this item? So we've got the bill or the resolution as amended before us. Seeing no further questions and discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval as amended, 7 in favor, 0 against. We've got an item that I need to abstain from. If I could ask our vice chair to come up here and preside over a item for us.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 6, RS 2024-467, authorizes 4th Avenue Property LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 107 4th Avenue North. Do you have a motion? Approval. Second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? One abstention. What's our count? 7. Okay. Yeah.
So if the chair needs to recuse himself, would he also maybe want to be taken off as a sponsor?
Okay. Thanks. So the only one you're abstaining from?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all very much. Turn some mics off here. All right, so up next we have Committee Item 7. This is RS 2024-468 by Porterfield and Parker. This is a resolution directing the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services to make additional payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes. Could we get a motion and a second on this one? Properly moved and seconded. And I pulled this off of consent just because it being budget season and this is a substantial additional contribution from water services to the general fund. I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted and explain some of the context here. So there's a statutory limitation to what public utilities can be, what taxes can be levied or what pilot can be agreed to with public utilities. And that statutory limitation is what a similarly classified private piece of property would be taxed at. And I believe that the maximum amount there is about 31 million is what the value of the property is assessed at. So we currently have a $10 million pilot coming from water that goes to the general fund to cover things that we use the general fund to support water with. We have a $4 million pilot that goes to the Sports Authority. And now this additional pilot is $4.76 million recurring annually. And I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware this is a well that we're going to, at this point, it is not an infinite source of additional funds by any stretch, but I just wanted to, if we could get someone from water just to let us know the department's position on this legislation, and if you'd please just introduce yourself and just give us maybe just a 15-second context about what we're doing here. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. This is Tony Vlasic. I'm the Assistant Director of Business and Finance, and this is requested by us, by Finance, to change it, to add a 34% to the $14 million amount. And everything you said was absolutely correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And so this puts us at about 61% of the maximum that could be levied under the current assessment under the state law. I just want folks to be aware of what we're doing here. Not opposed to it or anything. I just want to highlight this. Any other discussion or questions on this resolution? I see Councilmember Allen. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. Just one more question. The 4.0 that is currently dedicated to the Sports Authority is limited in terms of how long it will go to the Sports Authority. Is that correct? So that will then go to the general fund once the final.
I'll go to Director Darby.
Director Darby can just tell us when that endpoint is.
The current $4 million pilot that was instituted back in the late 90s for the stadium will continue to go to that purpose until the substantial completion date, until the December 31st following the substantial completion date for the new stadium. And then it will continue to be paid by the water department and just go into the general fund unless it's otherwise obligated.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Allen. Any other questions or discussion on this one? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Thank you very much. Recommend approval, 7 in favor, 0 against. And then we have one more. Committee item 13, this is BL 2024-349 by Spain, Gamble, and Parker. This amends the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government by renaming 4 disconnected segments of Old Harding Pike. And I will go to the lead sponsor, who's a committee member, Councilmember Spain, for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe I need to move the bill for the purposes of bringing up the substitute.
Can we get a second? All right, properly moved and seconded. You've got the bill before you if you want to move your substitute.
All right, I'd like to move the substitute which corrects an error in the bill's caption.
Thank you. Can we get a second? Thank you. So the substitute's properly before us. Any questions or discussion about the substitute? Seeing none, all those in favor of applying Councilman Spain's substitute, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval of the substitute, 7 in favor, 0 against. And go back to Councilmember Spain for a motion on your bill as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, the Emergency Communications Board has to give a recommendation on this bill before it passes on second reading. That should happen at their June meeting. I need to move to defer this item until our July 2nd meeting.
All right, can we get a second? All right, so the motion is to defer this item to the July 2nd meeting of the Metro Council. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of deferral to July 2nd, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend deferral. 7 in favor, 0 against. And that is the last of our committee items. I have a brief update that I want to share regarding the Transportation Improvement Plan. Let me make sure I note that deferral properly. So I reached out to the transit team and asked them to provide just a brief written update to us. And it just includes a little bit of information that I wanted to share with committee members as well as the general public. So this is our update on Choose How You Move program. Community touch points. Since the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee met with the transit team, the team has conducted transit talks on Choose How You Move in Districts 32, Councilmember Stiles District, District 8, Councilmember Harrell's District, and District 24, Councilmember Gadd's District. Information was presented to the following groups: Chamber South, Cumberland Harpeth Audubon Chapter, Nashville Business Journal Panel, American Society of Highway Engineers Middle Tennessee Chapter, NAIOP, Donaldson Hermitage Chamber, ITS Tennessee Conference, and a transit talk is scheduled for District 29, which is Councilmember Ellis's district, on May 28th. So if you'd like to have the team come out and present to your community in your council district, please reach out to them. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do that. I find that people in my community are very interested in learning about what's in the plan and how it will work. So I definitely encourage council members to work with the transit team to set up those events. Upcoming informational opportunities through the end of the month include the ULI Mobility Action Council, Senior Ride Nashville, and Metro's Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission. And it says here that requests for presentations can be handled through Hub Nashville. So that's very handy. And a little bit about the process, where we are in the process. The Choose How You Move program is available for review at nashville.gov/transit. An interactive map is on the website to look at projects and services by area of the county. An important milestone is the independent audit letter has been posted on the website along with Appendix A, which includes additional financial details. So please review that if you're interested. The mayor's team is currently collaborating on potential ballot language and will file the program with Metro Council. Council action is required to place the program on the ballot for referendum on November 5th. Any questions that you have can be directed to transit@nashville.gov via email. And so that was shared by the transit team. I wanted to make sure to share that with y'all. And we're a few minutes over, so that's going to be it for my updates. And thanks everybody for being here this afternoon.